Good afternoon, traders and investors. It's Will back here with another one. Hope you guys are doing well, coming to you with a Tuesday market update. So today, guys, we had a little bit of profit taking with a gap down open on most of the indexes. However, we had some good recovery intraday, SPY ending negative, but QQQ pulling a little bit of the market's weight here today, ending in the green, while everything else took a little bit of a breather. After such a sustained rally by financials and healthcare over the past few weeks, it's nice to see QQQ take over when these two sectors are taking a breather. And we've been mentioning this a lot on the channel here, guys, that QQQ, XLF, and XLV are pivotal in terms of their rotation game, meaning if QQQ is down, you want to see XLF and XLV compensate, and the opposite is also true when QQQ is up. That is the perfect time for XLF and XLV to be taking a breather, which leads to some healthy consolidation in these sectors, but also leads to SPY remaining healthy. So in today's video, guys, we're going to take a look at our major market indexes. We're going to take a look at our major tech names, of course, and wrap it up with my portfolio update near the end here. Couple little bit of news. One of the reasons, as a matter of fact, for your gap down open was we had a little bit of a news come out last night in the Asian markets in terms of Samsung and their comments on consumers' discretionary spending. So we'll go over that. And second, we also have some fake Bitcoin approval ETF news that came out over the course of the afternoon and sent Bitcoin's price into a very volatile 20-minute span where the SEC's Twitter account was actually hacked, and the hackers put out a message that the Bitcoin ETF was approved, only for the SEC to actually regain control of their account 20 minutes later and say, unfortunately, guys, that was not the truth here. ETF approval, I'll remind you, is supposed to be set for tomorrow, Wednesday, January 10th. So without further ado, guys, let's get right in today's market video. SPY down 0.15%, QQ up 0.2%. In terms of the market performance here today, you guys can see that it's fairly mixed, right? Healthcare with some decent gains across the board. But for the most part, guys, big tech, very, very mixed market. We had some intra-sector rotation within tech, right? You can see here, couple names up, couple names down, but as a whole, carrying QQQ higher. So that's always healthy to see when you do see a few names pulling back, but a few names starting to really gain momentum on the levels, namely Google, Amazon, and NVIDIA were your market leaders here, clearly cracking above areas of previous resistance. So we'll take a close look when we do the technicals on these three names. You will see that they are pretty much your lead bulls leading into the past week, even after such big consolidation. On the one-day relative performance, you'll see here, guys, only two real sectors here in the green: communication services and technology. Defensives, very, very, very small gains right here. But for the most part, guys, decent pullback day in the markets after such a big day of performance yesterday. A lot of sectors pulling back. And one of the main reasons, guys, may just be that traders are just waiting for your Thursday CPI data. And also we have earnings season kicking off on Friday with almost all of your major banks as well. So two very big catalysts. The major banks, the CPI is obviously going to provide some very, very good insight into inflation. Is it continuing to trend down? And that will also have an impact on your yields, as it will potentially send traders one way or another in terms of the probabilities of a rate decrease by the Fed into March. And financials obviously have some very good insight into the consumer spending category. So it's going to be very curious to see what they are saying here on Friday during their earnings. They will be posting full fiscal year guidance as well. So this is going to be a very key earnings report for your financial sectors. So what happened overnight here, guys? We got a bit of an influence here by Samsung, right? So Samsung flags worse than expected drop in quarterly profit on weak demand. So this is once again something here that's been in a question here of consumers' discretionary spending. So Samsung Electronics reported a likely 35% drop in fourth quarter operating profit on Tuesday, much worse than analysts expected, as weak consumer demand persisted in many of its businesses, even as memory chip prices improved. So Samsung, one of your largest technology companies in the world, they don't get talked about a lot in the US because they don't actually have a US ADR ticker. So they are based in Korea, obviously here. And what happened here is you'll see that Samsung on this chart, look at the operating profit slump during 2023 for Samsung, right? And this is just proof that your consumer is really tapering back on discretionary spending, right? So you'll see here that the operating profit has been absolutely crushed in 2023. They had a lot of pulled forward demand after the pandemic here with all the stimulus money. 2021, 2022 were very good years for them. But now, as consumers are more careful on their purchases, operating operating profits and demands have been dwindling. So that was a headline that hit the markets during the Asian session and kind of caused a little bit of nervousness if it was going to pour over into the rest of big tech. Obviously, Apple being one of Samsung's competitors, Apple was down on the day based off of this news as well. So a little bit of a scare here for some of your major tech players. But guys, discretionary spending coming down. We've been seeing that now in the past 2 quarterly earnings from a lot of different companies in a lot of different industries. We had comments by Nike and Starbucks in terms of their demand slightly slowing down because consumer discretionary spending was tight. We also saw it in the dollar store. So the dollar stores also had commented that discretionary spending was leading to reduced operating margins. You also saw it in earnings such as Walmart and Target, who said the exact same thing, to where a lot of their higher margin items, which are discretionary spend items such as clothing and accessories, had been seeing lower sales than expected. So it's happening all across the board here, even in names like Pepsi and Coca-Cola in their last earnings report said that people were spending less on their discretionary goods. Even though they're very solid businesses here, their demand was being slightly affected here by weaker than expected consumer discretionary spending. And as a whole, guys, this just means that these companies' operating profits are running into a little bit of a crunch cycle. So this year, 2024, is going to be all about the operating profits. Can the companies stimulate demand by decreasing prices, right? So they've had a lot of pricing power over the past few years, but now consumers are starting to not want to pay for your new prices. So a lot of companies are having trouble increasing prices, meaning they're running out of pricing power. And now potentially to stimulate demand, to keep their revenue top lines hot, they are going to potentially have to start liquidating and discounting things more than usual. So we're going to keep a close eye on a lot of company earnings into Q1 and see if this is still the case. But discretionary item spend has been a big factor in the past 2 quarterly earnings. Now, this is slightly bad for companies that are running out of purchasing power. However, it's very good for inflation. This is why in yesterday's video and over the past couple of months, guys, I've been saying inflation is gone. The hints are in the company earnings here that consumers are spending less and less on items that they do not need. So that is how you know that inflation as a whole should be trending to the downside. And if you want to take a quick look even at your core items here, guys, housing being the number 1 component of that, right? So housing should be coming down as well. And if you just want to take a quick look, guys, go on Facebook Marketplace. If you guys have been on Facebook Marketplace looking for either used cars or potential rental properties in terms of average rent amount per month, depending if you want to rent an apartment or a house, those have been trending down. And I take a look at them pretty much every single week, and they have steadily been trending down over the last 6 months. That's in terms of used cars to be purchased and also rental properties. So a lot of sticky items are also tending to come down as well. So overall here, guys, we're going to take a very quick look at all our earnings coming up here over the next month and a half, and the profits, the EPS guidance and profits due to slowed demand of consumer discretionary spending will be front and center, and the companies that I will be choosing to write put options on and to invest in over the course of this year will be companies that are not struggling to maintain profits because they have a very wide moat and they have a company business model that allows them to continuously increase prices even in these market environments here, right? So we're going to take a quick look now at our technical analysis for the markets here. So I hope you guys appreciated that early market update here. So in terms of the SPY here, guys, what is happening on the SPY here for today? Well, as of yesterday's video, I was telling you guys, right, daily uptrend was lost leading into the early part of this week. And now we have our daily bounce undergoing. So daily bounce is still underway. The bulls have still not lost the hourly uptrend. Even with the overnight session of pullback, we are still trying to continue this hourly uptrend right here. Right now is kind of shaping up to be a little bit of a bull flag. 12 EMA is still being defended by the bulls. So we'll see if they can continue this hourly uptrend into tomorrow's trading. As long as you have the hourly uptrend, your daily bounce is still underway here. And in terms of the SPY daily bounce here, guys, you can see that even though they double top slightly at the top, they have recovered 80% of the move down, right? So your bulls engulfing 80% of the move, which gives them the best opportunity at either V-shaping this whole drop or potentially two-stepping the move and resetting the daily uptrend. All in all, we are always looking for the weekly higher low. So we'll keep an eye. Can the bulls keep it up over the course of the week? CPI on Thursday is going to be the determining factor for this, in my opinion. Moving on to QQQ. QQQ actually ending slightly above yesterday's trading, even though they had a negative overnight session here, setting the hourly higher low, resetting, continuing at this point, the hourly uptrend, right? Now we're just looking for the hourly higher low for continuation. The whole time that the bulls maintain the hourly uptrend, this daily bounce continues. And now, right, they lost the daily uptrend. Right now we're looking, can they V-shape this or will they have to two-step this? The key is in the size of the bounce after yesterday's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Now we're back up to about the 618 level on QQQs. So probabilities do favor at this point, since the bulls have recaptured your golden ratio 618, they have created enough space to set up for a potential daily trend change. As soon as this move tops out here, you're going to look for the loss of the hourly uptrend, right? As soon as it tops out and you lose that hourly uptrend, how high will the bounce have gotten? At this point, the bounce is considerable and can set up the bulls to reset the hourly trend, the daily uptrend here into two steps if they are not to V-shape it entirely, potentially with a very bullish CPI report. So keep an eye on that, guys. We were always also looking out for your weekly higher lows, which was pretty much most probably set. Need to wait to see how this week closes, right? But was most likely set last week. Now moving on to XLF. XLF pulling back ever so slightly here today, 0.63%. You can't really tell on the chart, can you, here after such a bullish day yesterday? So XLF need to be a tiny bit careful here, guys, right? Because we do have a bit of bearish divergence. So you see the descending highs here on the RSI and the ever increasing highs on your chart. That is what's known as bearish divergence. Usually the market will correct to the downside and fill in this divergence here. So a little bit of bearishness in terms of your daily divergence, but in terms of the trend is still bullish. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Just looking for a daily higher low. Anything above 37.41 at this point, right, is your daily higher low, but also running into a little bit of a rising wedge, right? And usually this is also a bearish pattern as well. So if this just means that we're culminating, guys, right? After such a beautiful 10, 11 week rally, the bulls are finding more and more difficulty to push the higher levels as we get up here, right? So a little bit that bearish divergence that I showed you, bearish pattern formation in terms of your rising wedge as well. So a daily consolidation move, a loss of the daily uptrend could just be set by the bears here, right? Keep an eye on your 12 EMA. If we start losing this 12 EMA, that's when you know it's probably going to start. And then, guys, we're just heading for weekly consolidation. Weekly consolidation would be very healthy. Anything between 37 and 36 is going to be the area of pullback. Obviously, big previous resistance here in the past year and a half. So this would be the likely pullback zone. Target your 12 EMA, which is kind of right in the middle here, 36, 37-ish at this point. So target that. If ever we lose financials, what we'll need to see is QQQ bulls continue to resume to keep SPY healthy. And the same thing for healthcare. Healthcare as well. Healthcare had a significant rise early in the day here, but giving a lot of it back up. They still haven't lost the hourly uptrend, still in an hourly uptrend. So your daily move higher does continue, right? So daily higher low was set anything above 138.59 at this point. Just looking for another daily higher low. Slightly overbought here on the RSI as well. So we're going to keep an eye out if ever the bulls do lose this daily uptrend, potentially come back, set a daily downtrend. That's fine here, guys. Tons of space for your weekly higher low. 11 weeks of rally in a row. If we do come back below here, keep an eye 136.42, top end of this whole range right here, all the way down to about 132.70. This is going to be the very healthy pullback zone, in my opinion. And on the monthly, you can see healthcare is going for the monthly breakout as well. So any pullback should be a buying opportunity for your longer term bulls. But now we are getting slightly rich here, guys. Slightly extended from your 12 EMA as well. So just keep an eye on your pullbacks here, guys, right? Keep an eye. 12 EMA on the 4-hour time frame should be a fairly good guide for this, right? So as soon as you lose this, you're into pretty much daily consolidation mode. Watch the higher low right here, 138.59. If you lose that, daily consolidation is underway into weekly consolidation as well. And if XLF and XLV drop, I'll reiterate, guys, you need to see QQQ take over or SPY is going to take a big hit. And we're just going to continue weekly consolidation across all indexes at that point at the same time, which when this all happens, if all of these go red at the same time, QQQ, XLF, and XLV, your SPY is going to have a heavier correction, right? That's what usually happens when all of your indexes drop at the same time, but still healthy, guys. Tons of space on the weekly, even for SPY, for QQQ as well, XLF, and XLV, everything has tons of space on the weekly. Now moving on to IWM Russell. IWM Russell struggling, right? Had a very good day yesterday, kind of opening an inside candle on the day, trading here today, right? So giving back a lot of the hourly move here. We will see, will the bears be able to reject this and send it to an hourly downtrend? That would mean that your daily move up is unfortunately finished. And at this point, the bulls have not taken back enough of the move to be safe in terms of setting a daily higher low and then moving on to a daily uptrend. They've only taken back 38.2% of the move, which does still favor the bulls, if ever, the bears, excuse me, if ever we start trending back down on your hourly time frame. At that point, guys, we are probably expecting a lower low target. This area right here, 187 to about 182 is going to be your sweet spot. That is also the sweet spot on the weekly time frame as well. It's about the middle part of this entire big range, right? All your moving averages are down there as well. So just keep a close eye on that in terms of that scenario here. If we do set the daily downtrend in motion on IDOM Russell, well, the weekly consolidation just continues. Very healthy weekly consolidation. Anything above 162, guys, just looking for a weekly higher low for further trend continuation. And even on the monthly, guys, we are looking very healthy on the monthly. Even if we do get a few more weeks of monthly consolidation, that's fine here, guys. I do believe that the Russell should be poised for some good gains into 2024, especially if rates are going to be brought down and the labor market remains tight. I do believe that investors will pivot to growth in terms of your institutions. Now moving on to the Dow Jones. Dow Jones holding up better than most here, guys. Still trading right near the 12 EMA, right? Defense of this 12 EMA ever since this whole November rally. So keep an eye, guys. Will we lose it or not? Well, it's very nice to see the Dow Jones consolidating at the highs. After hitting such a high level on the RSI, look how much the RSI has come down and we haven't lost any price. That's what's good about sideways consolidation sometimes. It allows the cooling off of the higher time frame RSI. So now daily uptrend is still in full control by the bulls at this point, right? Just looking for the daily higher low. Higher low was set yesterday pretty much. 37,250. But if ever for which reason we lose this coming into tomorrow and into the rest of the week, maybe the next 2 weeks, that's fine here, guys. The bears will set a daily downtrend, would be the first daily downtrend in pretty much your last 2 months. And that would be okay because it would just be very healthy weekly consolidation here, guys. After such a beautiful 10, 11 week period on the Dow Jones can afford to lose a little bit of the levels here for some weekly consolidation. Tiny little bit overbought still on the weekly time frames. And if we do pull back, guys, target your previous all-time highs. That's pretty much your 36,800-ish down to about 36,400-ish. For really the sweet spot level where I do expect the bulls to react from from support. But as of now, the bulls still in control, still defending your 12 EMA, and even the short-term time frames, guys, really not losing the hourly trends that much. So keep a very close eye on your daily chart right here. Your higher low, 32,287, and the loss of this 12 EMA would just be synonymous here of a daily downtrend and just further weekly healthy consolidation. Now, guys, let's move on to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin had a heck of an hour at 4 o'clock. So what exactly happened on Bitcoin here, guys? You'll see crypto community responds to fake ETF approval with memes and disbelief. Crypto folks were abuzz in the aftermath of a fake SEC Twitter post saying spot Bitcoin ETFs had been approved. So this is the actual tweet that came out at 4 o'clock here today from the official SEC account, which was hacked. Today, the SEC grants approval for Bitcoin ETFs for listing on all registered national security exchanges. The approved Bitcoin ETFs will be subject to ongoing surveillance and compliance measures to ensure continued investor protection here. And then 20 minutes later, it was removed, prompting people to retweet this one right here, which was posted by the SEC in October. Careful what you read on the internet. The best source of information about the SEC is the SEC. So very ironic here that their own account was hacked. But essentially what had happened to the price here, as soon as that was posted, guys, the Bitcoin pretty much had a rally here of over 2.5%. And then as soon as it was removed, pretty much 25 minutes later, you can see the negative impact on Bitcoin right here. So as a whole, pretty much a non-event, right? Just Bitcoin consolidating levels once again. Daily uptrend is still in motion here, guys. We're just looking for a daily higher low at this point. ETF approval tomorrow, guys, is pretty much going to be the event, right? So if we can see what happened this afternoon, the initial reaction to Bitcoin approval was a bullish reaction. The only reason it pulled back heavily could be stated to be that the post was said to be fake, but we won't know truly what is going to be the actual market reaction until they get approved tomorrow. It can go either way, guys. A lot of people are saying sell the news event, but a lot of other people stipulate that it could be a perfect opportunity for institutions to start building positions. Otherwise, because they were not regulated prior, and institutions have a lot of regulatory requirements. The investments that they invest in need to be registered products with the SEC. So you could see a lot of institutional investment tomorrow, but then again, it could be a sell the news events, as Bitcoin has been trying to price in this event pretty much for the last several months as a whole. So tomorrow going to be a very, very big scenario. I don't mind either way here, guys. If we do for some reason lose the daily uptrend here and send us into further weekly consolidation, that's fine here, guys. Target your 40,000 levels. Bulls still in a very clear weekly uptrend, breaking this bull flag to the upside during the course of this week. So 40,000 is going to be a big level of support. Any larger term pullback here, guys, even if this is the sell the news event, monthly uptrend more than confirmed. So even if we do get a pullback, guys, I will be buying Bitcoin and riding it through 2024 and 2025. This is the period during which I do think that you will have this next crypto bull run. 2024 and 2025 should be very bullish for crypto. Ethereum not doing much here, guys. Still pretty much stuck in your tightening range right here. So really need a break of your higher level here. We're talking about 24, 25-ish is going to be the level to watch here. So no clear daily uptrend in motion currently. Even on the weekly, this is really just a weekly bull flag at this point, right? Tightening range, very wide range, mind you, but still tightening range at the top end of your most recent weekly move. So we will see tomorrow how the Bitcoin ETF approval affects this. But obviously, if you break your highs right here, 24, 25, well, we just have a continued weekly breakout in motion. Your monthly upswing just simply continues at the point. Next area of resistance for Ethereum, $2,700. And if for ever which reason, guys, it's a sell the news event and we come down, I'm looking to buy Ethereum 2,100 all the way down to 1,900. I do believe that's a great long-term buying opportunity for a monthly breakout retest trade of this level before future rises 2024, 2025. So I'm looking to continuously build positions in large crypto names over the course of this year and really ride them 2024, 2025, get the most out of this bull run as possible. Now moving on to Apple. Apple with a little bit of recovery here today in the end of the day, but the Samsung news hit them pretty hard in the overnight session here, guys. So you'll see this is pretty much your overnight session. Apple ending the day 185.54 yesterday, and then started off the morning, guys, as low as 182.72. So now Apple bulls were looking to recapture the hourly uptrend. They did that into the end of the day and just continuing this daily bounce in motion, right? So as of yesterday's video, I was telling you the bears full control of this daily downtrend. We're expecting a lower high. Now, the size of the bounce is key. The entire time that your bulls are in control of this hourly uptrend right here, your daily bounce is still underway. As soon as they lose the hourly uptrend, your daily bounce is finished. Where does Apple need to get to give it the best chance at resetting the daily uptrend, right? Something like this, right? It needs to be above the 618. 618 is currently about 189.22. So if the bulls can get all the way up on this daily bounce to 189.22, they give themselves the best chance of setting up for the daily trend change. But as of now, the bears still in control. We are expecting a lower high, and moving averages are here as resistance. On the weekly here, guys, weekly uptrend is lost by Apple bulls right now, pulling into my sweet spot. Sweet spot currently is still 181 all the way down to 175 for picking up some shares of Apple. That was the previous all-time high as resistance. Big chop zone here as well. The bulls use this as support. I know it goes a little bit lower, but still my sweet spot remains in this point. Obviously, anything lower than that is obviously buy two, but why don't I include this? Because I expect there to be a monthly tightening range with monthly higher lows, and to tighten this up, I don't expect a revisit of your lows that were set back here in October, 165.83. That would be pretty low. I am expecting this range to tighten up, but put in higher lows nonetheless here, and your monthly 12 EMA is right there at about 178.2, so should be providing some good support for your Apple bulls. Apple does have earnings here Thursday, 1st of February, so that is also going to be a crucial piece of information to be watching on Apple. But so far so good. Daily bounce is underway. Just need to measure, guys. We will check the size of the bounce, and then we'll see what the probabilities favor. Obviously, if Apple loses the hourly uptrend tomorrow, sets an hourly downtrend, the size of this bounce, guys, is not high enough yet. That would favor a pretty much retest of the lows and most probably a rollover into furtherance of the daily downtrend. Moving on to AMD. AMD, heck of a recovery here, guys. The past 4 days, right? Pretty much recovering almost the entire move down is now recovered. I would say 95% of this entire move is recovered. So now AMD, when I tell you guys measure the size of the bounce, this is what I'm talking about to give your bulls the best chance possible, right? So AMD losing the daily uptrend, the flush of this low, right? And now we were looking for a potential lower high and maybe revisit of the lows. But the size of the bounce is key, right? So look, size of this bounce, entire V-shaped recovery. So now even if the bulls don't crack this in one clean shot, they have a beautiful space created here to create the two-step daily trend reversal here. So tons and tons of space at this point. Any pullback, anything above 134, just gonna be looking for your daily higher low for daily trend reversal here. The weekly looking beautiful as well. Weekly uptrend, we had our weekly higher low. That's the same level, 134.04. Weekly higher low is set right now. And now we are moving on to leg number 3 of this weekly move. AMD is looking beautiful. Monthly uptrend is more than set as well here. So AMD looking very good. Next area of resistance, guys, is really your all-time highs. Even on the weekly time frame, you can see this as well. Not really much before 147, all the way up to pretty much 163, right? So 147 at this point, our first level right here is taken out. So now we have to move on to our pretty much 162, 163 all-time high area of resistance. AMD looking very good. Amazon recovering nicely here, guys. So even though you had a bit of tech weakness today, Amazon, Google, and AMD have put in some solid work, obviously NVIDIA as well, really making up for a lot of the lagging that you have in Apple, even Microsoft not breaking its range, right? So these are your lead bulls right here, AMD, Amazon, Google, and pretty much NVIDIA at this point, right? So Amazon also, size of the bounce was key. Daily downtrend was set. We were trying to use this whole area as support, 148 all the way down to 140 pretty much. And now the bulls have shown up in a big way using the bottom end of this most recent support zone right here, 144, and now putting in a heck of a bounce. So hourly uptrend is maintained by the bulls at this point. We will see how high can they continue this hourly uptrend. The size of the bounce at this point, guys, look at this, right? Oops. That's the wrong button. So look at the size of this bounce right here, okay? So now we are almost up to, let me delete that real quick. We are almost up to 78%. We're past the 618 level. So now the bulls have the best shot at potentially two-stepping this, reversing into a new daily uptrend right here, or even the V shape, right? The higher we get, the more likely the V shape. But if for whatever it's reason we roll over tomorrow, we're just now looking, if we do set the lower high here, right? If we lose the hourly uptrend tomorrow, just looking for a higher low for future daily trend reversal now, right? Daily downtrend was confirmed by the bears. Now we're looking for the bulls to set up the daily trend reversal here on the upside. Size of the bounce is very good. We're now back above our 148.35, back above your daily moving averages, so everything looking good. Amazon on the weekly, Amazon, we were always looking for a weekly higher low. Anything above pretty much 143 was your weekly higher low, barely getting a weekly higher low above that now. So looking for the perpetuation of this weekly uptrend right now, looking very good. Good defense of the 12 EMA last week. It's going to be looking for a weekly trend continuation on Amazon, and monthly on the Amazon is looking absolutely beautiful at this point, right? Your next area of resistance, the next leg up, if we start cracking through these highs, next area of resistance is going to be 164, 165. So Amazon, another one of your lead bulls. Google, also one of your lead bulls. Google never having lost your daily uptrend, like a lot of the rest of tech here, never lost the series of daily higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Anything above 131.08 was just looking for a higher low. We got it at this point, and now the bounce is looking very juicy, right? So look at the size of this bounce right here, guys. We're up to 80% of this move, which means that the bulls, probabilities wise, have a very good shot at either the V shape or the two-step daily higher low recovery here. For whatever it's reason, we roll over. Hourly trend is your guide here, guys, right? Hourly uptrend. For whatever which reason we lose it tomorrow, then we're going to be looking for the daily higher low. Daily higher low, a lot of levels to work back off of. 140 all the way down to 138 is now support once again. Your moving averages are there as well, so I do think the bulls are going to be able to use that as defense. Excuse me. So we will see, can we just continue this motion and just continue this daily uptrend right now? Or will they have to two-step it? Either or, bulls full control. They've never lost the daily uptrend, so daily uptrend just continuing at this point. Weekly uptrend as well was never lost. Google looking very good, setting the weekly higher low at this point, 137 last week. So weekly trend to the upside does continue as well. And monthly is also looking very bullish for the monthly breakout for Google. Next area of resistance, guys, talking about the all-time highs, right? 147 up to about 150 is going to be the target. So Google looking very good. Another one of your lead bulls in terms of the size of the bounce from the most recent down move. Google, one of your only names with Meta that never lost the daily uptrend, right? Apple, loss of the daily uptrend. AMD, loss of the daily uptrend, but not setting a daily downtrend. They just lost the daily uptrend, and now they're trying to recapture it right away. Amazon, loss of the daily uptrend. Daily downtrend was set. Google, never lost the daily downtrend, right? And Meta, you'll see Meta also never lost the daily uptrend as well. So now looking at Meta also with a very sizable bounce as well, even getting as high, almost as high as her previous high today. So Meta, in terms of the bounce recovery here, you will see this is almost a perfect recovery here, recovering pretty much 90% of your price. So Meta, one as well that you were always looking for the daily higher low, anything above 1,329 pretty much was your daily higher low. We got it pretty much on last Tuesday, and now we will just be looking for daily trend continuation of the upside. If for ever which reason we top out here and start losing the levels, right? If for ever which reason Meta loses this hourly uptrend into tomorrow and setting that, well, we could just end up setting an hourly, a daily tightening range here. But Meta looking very, very, very good, even on the daily. Nice price recovery. Going to be looking for new 52-week highs here soon. And on the weekly, guys, weekly was clear as day. We were always just looking for continuation of the weekly uptrend, setting the weekly higher low. Previous resistance was now support. Last week's trading higher low is set 340.17 now to the upside, right? For your continuation on the weekly and monthly, obviously looking very good. Your next area of resistance on the longer term timeframes is your all-time high. So Meta looking very good. Worst case scenario, guys, especially with this move down, not a very deep cut move down. So I do expect the bulls, if they can't crack these highs right away, may just have to tighten up a little bit before doing a next move further here, right? So keep an eye on Meta. Microsoft, guys, once again, still stuck in our range. So the analysis, you guys should know this analysis by heart at this point. We've been doing the same analysis on Microsoft for a better part of the last month. So we'll keep this one brief, right? Crack the range to the upside. Daily uptrend is set. Your weekly higher lows are set after this beautiful weekly consolidation range. Going to be looking for a continuation of the weekly uptrend, and pretty much your monthly higher lows are set with the lows of this month on for future monthly continuation. Break it to the downside. Unfortunately, your daily downtrend is set. Your weekly downtrend is set as well. And that is not a big of a deal because it's just further Microsoft monthly consolidation. Beautiful monthly uptrend here. Monthly consolidation is more than welcome on Microsoft. And I will be a buyer of Microsoft here. 355 down to 340 is the level to watch. So just keep an eye. Break of this range. Microsoft with earnings pretty much 31st of January, right? So I'd like to see them break this range before earnings, but if for ever which reason they don't, well, if they stay in this range for another 3 weeks, earnings will definitely break this range. So just keep an eye on that on Microsoft. Netflix here. Netflix inside trading in terms of yesterday's candle as well. So Netflix was also in a daily downtrend here. So Netflix, another one of your big tech names, lost the daily uptrend here. Bears setting the daily downtrend. Now we're looking for the size of the bounce in relation to 494.18. Take a look at the size of this bounce. Hasn't changed since yesterday, recovering almost 80% of the move. So now Netflix bulls have a very good chance of setting a daily higher low for daily trend reversal at this point, right? Everything is looking fairly good on Netflix. Bit of an inside trading day. Just keep an eye, guys. Hourly uptrend. I know it's not very pretty on Netflix at this point, right? Very, very wide range at this point. We'll be looking, can they continue the hourly uptrend into tomorrow, or will we potentially lose the hourly uptrend and send us looking for a daily higher low? Anything above 462.74 for the bulls will be to change the daily trend to the upside here. Weekly was always looking fairly good on Netflix as well, right? Weekly uptrend confirmed. After this pullback right here, we were just looking for a weekly higher low. Pretty sure we got it last year, 461 last week. 461.73 is going to be the area to watch. The 12 EMA is down there as well. So we'll see if the bulls can really use last week's low as your daily trend, as your weekly higher low right here, and perpetuate this weekly uptrend. If for whatever reason we continue consolidating this week, it's okay. Anything still above 445.42, right? As long as the daily uptrend isn't confirmed yet, you can't call the weekly higher low. So let's say they just continue consolidation here towards the lows here. Well, that'll just be continued weekly consolidation. Going to be taking an eye, guys. 446.54 is the line in the sand on the weekly. And on the monthly, Netflix is looking fairly good as well here on the monthly in terms of the monthly breakout here. Any retest of this area, guys, even if we lose this low right here, as if we come back in this 450 to 425 range, I will definitely be buying. Earnings is a big catalyst coming up here in just about 2 weeks. So if ever which reason earnings is not well received, well, I will be looking to play Netflix if we do dip into this area. Now moving on to NVIDIA. NVIDIA continuing the rally on to today, getting almost as high as 543 today. So beautiful upswing by NVIDIA, right? You will know that your upswing is finished when the bulls lose the hourly uptrend. So far, so good. Hourly uptrend is just maintained at this point. Just looking for continuation of that. As soon as this move tops out here, guys, right? Daily bulls are in full control, right? Daily downtrend was set by the bears. engulfing move by the bulls at this point with yesterday's news with their new graphics card release. So now any move lower, just looking for a higher low, anything above 473, higher low for daily trend continuation at this point, right? Keep an eye, guys, your previous all-time high, right? 504, 500, very big area of support. So if this move tops out right away and we get weekly consolidation right away, this area is going to be a definite big area of support. Weekly breakout at this point is confirmed by the bulls too. So even if we get a little pullback, extended pullback on the daily right away, let's say, daily downtrend, weekly consolidation, anything above your previous low, 477-ish, is just going to be for a weekly higher low for further trend continuation. Bulls are in full control of everything. Monthly time frame, full control, weekly, full control, and daily bulls, full control as well. Moving on to Tesla. Tesla, guys, continuously pulling back here today, coming into the lower end of our range, guys. This is pretty much 233 down to 227, lower end of the range, tagging your 200 daily moving average, which is this green line right here. So Tesla with earnings in 2 weeks, that's going to change everything for the company. Deliveries were good, guys. Deliveries were actually really good. Guidance should be good for the year. No forecasted factory shutdowns for the year as well, which could reduce productivity here. So looking forward to seeing what Tesla has to say, especially with the most recent Cybertruck releases and how their advertising spending, which is going to translate into demand, has been going as well. So Tesla with a lot of news coming out in 2 weeks here. So breaking this range before earnings may be a little bit tight now that we're back into it, right? So 247 all the way down to about 227. The daily cut is very deep by the bears at this point, right? 4 hour, not quite oversold conditions just yet, but you can see how much of a struggle it is for the bulls, right? Not able to maintain an hourly uptrend. Once again, recaptured by the bears right here. Bulls never setting the 4 hour uptrend either, just always rolling over here. So we're going to be looking at the lower end of this area for some more price support here. Bears have engulfed, right? Daily uptrend was set. Now one big engulfing move by the bears here, down 1 day of positivity yesterday wasn't enough to really get this daily bounce underway. You can see they never really captured the 1 hour time frame in a significant fashion, right? Just lost it here today. So unfortunately, your daily consolidation does just continue at this point. Tesla, if we do revisit this, anything below 230 down to 210, I will try to get some options on that, write some puts and try to get into these levels here. But I may only write some puts here towards maybe tomorrow for the end of the week and then next week, but I won't be playing the week of earnings on Tesla. It may be a little bit too volatile for me. I'd rather wait for earnings to come out, because that way, if there's any negative reaction, such as last earnings cycle right here, you saw it took us right down to lower 200s, and that was a juicy buying opportunity. So that's what I'll be looking out for on Tesla. Tesla's still looking to protect the weekly higher lows right here. Weekly higher lows are set pretty much this low right here, right? Let's call it about 228. This candle right here is going to be your key level to maintain if you want to maintain this weekly uptrend. But now the bears have pulled back so much that the best case scenario for the bulls is developing a somewhat tightening range. Obviously, if earnings are extremely bullish, we can recover this right away, but that would be best case scenario. If there were no earnings, the price action, in my opinion, would just be a tightening range or just straight loss if there are some bearish macro news. So keep an eye on that, guys. Tesla is a buying opportunity. It's just the short-term price action not looking too good for me. Palantir, 1 day of bounce and now down a little bit more, 1.68% of the downside. So I was telling you guys, measure the size of the daily bounce right here. The daily bounce is set when your hourly uptrend is set. And when you lose the hourly uptrend, your daily bounce, unfortunately, is over. So Palantir only with 2 days of daily bounce at this point. The bounce, in my opinion, did not get high enough to confirm the bulls' capacity to set a daily higher low, right? So they only got up about 50%. So now it's going to be on the bulls. Can the bulls set a daily higher low higher than your low, 1568, and reset a daily uptrend? Or will the bears just take over, roll over into a daily downtrend? The probabilities do favor the bears, but it's now up to the bulls to play some heavy defense and prevent the lower low from happening. Bears are in control of the daily downtrend. We were always looking for a lower high, tag the moving average, rejecting from it now. Now the lower lows are going to be key here, guys. If for whatever which reason we do follow through for these lower lows, $15.50 down to about $14 is the sweet spot for me for Palantir personally, right? That's going to be juicy buy zone in my opinion here. Big previous area of support over the past, the back half of 2023, ever since pretty much June and July right here. So very curious if the bears are going to perpetuate this weekly downtrend into this level. If they do, buying opportunity for me, just a monthly tightening range as well. Wide range, I will give it to you, but nonetheless, a monthly tightening range. Good moving average support on the monthly charts there as well. And Palantir with earnings here, pretty much mid-February here, so should be immune to very heavy price action before their earnings here. We'll see if it presents us with a good buying opportunity down into this area. But like I said, it's up to the bulls now to prove us the daily trend change, and only then we'll be able to say this is your weekly high or low, and then looking for how high this weekly upswing gets. And now lastly, PayPal. PayPal pulling back ever so slightly on the day here today, making a new high in relation to the yesterday's high, but then pulling back a lot of the move here today, kind of looking like SPY and QQQ, right? Bit of an inside candle with yesterday's trading. So the size of the bounce was key. PayPal losing the daily uptrend. Daily downtrend was set at this point by the bears. So now it was up to the bulls to set a big enough of a bounce to guarantee a good chance at a trend change back to the bulls here, right? So bounce was set almost 70%. So now the bulls have a very good chance of resetting the daily uptrend to the upside. Hourly uptrend, guys, never really losing the hourly uptrend, just a very wide range at this point on the hourly. So at this point, we're going to be looking for a break of yesterday and today's highs, tomorrow's, to continue this hourly uptrend to the upside. As long as we have the hourly uptrend, this daily bounce is still continuing. So we haven't lost the hourly at this point. Your daily bounce is still underway, despite this being an inside trading candle. So we'll see, can they recapture even more ground, or will we lose the hourly uptrend? Then we will be looking tomorrow to see, for the next couple of days, can we hold above 57.42, set a higher low, and then reset the daily uptrend, which would also be your weekly higher low down here at last week's low, about 57.50, right? Looking for the weekly trend to perpetuate here, looking to get above this down trending channel line right here, which is about your $65 range. Break of 65 is going to be huge for PayPal, in my opinion here, guys. So keep a very close eye on that for PayPal. And that's pretty much it for today's video here, guys. Now let's dive quickly into my portfolio. Not much has changed. So guys, taking a look at my portfolio, not much has changed, guys, right? So as on Monday's update here, I was telling you guys pretty much the reason for the decline here. Well, a lot of our positions have declined into the early year. A lot of things coming off the end of year highs, a lot of profit taking in tech and the positions that I've been exposed to here. So that's why we had a big drop. We're still running about 6.5% to the downside. In relation to SPY, SPY is kicking our butt, right? SPY only down 0.13%, really early in the year here, guys, right? So I'm kind of just playing around here a bit in terms of just being a bit comical with it. But NASDAQ only down about 1.10%, and we're still down a whopping 6.42% here, guys. Once again, that's because I made a big withdrawal at the beginning of the year, and now we're running the same amount of positions as we had ending last year, but now running it with slightly less account value because of that big cash withdrawal. So we're running a bit more leverage currently, and that's why we have a higher beta than the indexes, and that's why we drop more than the indexes currently. But haven't been lucky, quote unquote, with the performance of our positions into the early year. Haven't done anything here today, guys, right? So as I was saying on Monday's video, we do have that CP covered call here, right? The $80 covered call. We'll see if that gets called away for next Thursday, Friday, or if we just maintain the position here. CP, I really like this position, but it's run a substantial amount ever since we got into the position here, all the way down here. We're back up now to this big area of resistance here. So that's why I'm writing covered calls, not able to crack this area in the past 2 weeks. So good area for me to be writing covered calls. Google, we have the 141 covered calls here. Google got some decent premium on them. This was written yesterday, right? So pretty much $1.04 divided by your 141. That's pretty much going to be 0.7% for the week. So Google looking fairly good here. Even if we do get called away, we will see at the end of Friday if we're able to roll for some premium or if we just let it get called away. But now Google, ever since we got assigned these on December 15th, we've written a bunch of premium here and really been able to drop our average cost from 134 down to 130.24. So very good profit. If we get called away at 141 here, that would be over $1,000 something of profit. Very decent risk, very decent risk reward in terms of the trade that we took here. So fairly happy with the Google performance. Now, the rest, guys, the rest has just simply dropped pretty much since the beginning of the year. Adobe now back to par, but this was down to 565 early in the week. Amazon had a little bit of a dip, but now we're back above profit on those. TMF has come off its highs as we have an increase in yields over the past week as well. Oracle was all the way back almost to break even, now dropped all the way to 103, so it took a hit there beginning of the year. Bitcoin and Ethereum pretty much unchanged. BABA had a heavy dip here, guys. BABA is a contributor to a lot of my portfolio downside. You'll see that BABA dropped pretty much almost 8% since the start of the year here. They were all the way to 77, close to covered call territory, but now dropping a little bit. Still love the position here, guys. Don't get me wrong. Just explaining why the account's down a little bit. CP we went over, Google we went over. Nike's also dropped considerably since the beginning of the year here, guys. So Nike, beginning of the year, we were talking about 109, almost covered call recovery territory, right? We were going to write covered calls, but unfortunately, the market pulled the rug from under us. Now, Nike down about 6-7% there from there. So that's another drop here, roughly of about, a good $700 or so. So that's contributing to the drop. Starbucks as well. Starbucks was almost back to break even, just about to write covered calls into the new year. But you can see Starbucks as well, right? Beginning of the year, we were all the way up to 96.15. I was going to write covered calls on the Monday, but then unfortunately on Monday, Tuesday of last week, Monday was a holiday, dropped right off. So now even Starbucks is down pretty much, a good 3.32%, which is about $300 on 100 shares from there. Nice little taper off right there as well. Trade desk also just currently waiting to write covered calls. Not juicy enough for me, so waiting to write covered calls closer to 72. Palantir also coming down ever so slightly here. Not yet in covered call territory. Got assigned on these at $18. Our average cost on those shares for Palantir, I will remind you at this point, guys, the average cost on Palantir for those is about 17. Don't have it on there on the chart, but we did write a few covered calls on this since. And then still riding PayPal. PayPal is obviously down about $4 from the start of the year. PayPal ended the year pretty much right 63.50, and then they came down ever so slightly all the way down to 57, which is why the account was really hurting from that PayPal loss here, but now quickly starting to come back all the way back up to 61.05, so maintaining that position as well. CSIQ as well, coming down from your $26 range. It was all the way up to about 26.30-ish, right? So 26, even higher than that, 26.90s almost, $27. Almost back to our break even. 27.18 is our break even after writing a bunch of covered calls for the past couple of months here. So now CSIQ down a whopping 9%, 10% ever since the start of the year. So that's obviously kicking the portfolio a little bit. Would like to see it come up a little bit more so I can write covered calls closer to my break even. So that's pretty much the explanation here, guys, why the portfolio has come down. You can see I haven't changed anything in the portfolio, still running all of these assigned positions. So we're just going to be looking to roll out of these positions progressively as they return to profit. Just saving my buying power here, guys. The reason I didn't write anything over the course of this week, yesterday would have been a decent opportunity early in the day, but got back to my computer too late after my appointments. And I was looking for a few, guys, right? Palantir is just one that I'll be looking for, 15.50 down to 14. Didn't find any, I have a scanner for this, right? And the plays on the scanner, yes, there was a lot of plays, but none of them were at decent supports, or they just weren't stocks that I personally wanted to own. So I'm looking for Palantir. I'm looking for Tesla as well. Tesla, anything, 225 down to 210. I want to be playing those as well, right? Autodesk doesn't have that much premium on it. I want it to come back a little bit more, 235. But after yesterday and today's gains, right, wasn't able to get enough premium here in the 225 zone. And also looking at Pepsi, I really want to get Pepsi as well in the lower 165, but premium isn't that juicy on Pepsi necessarily either. So still just looking to shop a little bit on that. Missed it a bit in the morning here. Had a bit of a downswing here, right? And only saw that it was fairly decently valued in the afternoon. But then when I came to the contracts, just not enough premium on the 165s, guys, for Friday. So that's why I didn't play Pepsi either. But there is a few things in the pipeline here, the guys, that I'm always eyeing. So always looking for those opportunities. Just we have CPI on Thursday and we do have banks on Friday. So if I don't write any new positions this week, I'm fine with just holding my existing position, reducing my cost basis, and just keeping my buying power. So for when I really see juicy opportunities on companies that I want, I don't just want to be writing premium on anything. And another one, guys, Oxy. Looking for Oxy as well. Oxy coming into a very big area of support here. 55 is an area that I'm going to be looking for here as well. So you can see this 55 zone really playing out as massive support here ever since April 2022. So if we do pull back a little bit more, just waiting for Oxy, just being extra patient and cautious, not that volatile of a stock. So you really have to wait for it to come down to you to get some juicy premium on it. So there's just a few plays that are in my pipeline, guys, but I'm being a bit more patient, bit more careful, especially when I'm running a decent amount of assigned positions that I haven't been able to roll out yet. Need to be a bit more careful with my option selection. So that's pretty much everything I had for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like. I really appreciate it. And also consider subscribing to the channel if you're new. Would love to have you here. Thank you to each and every one of you guys. 610 subscribers almost. I love each and every one of you, and I'm so happy you guys appreciate the videos, and I hope that it really helps you for some trading insights for your own accounts as well. And as usual, guys, if you have any questions, macro, technical analysis, options, stocks, you guys know, leave it down below in the comments, and it'll be my pleasure to answer you. So we'll see you guys tomorrow after the close. Take care and peace.